These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Wednesday, August 21st. And August is almost over. Kind of flying by and at the same time dragging along. I don't know how to explain it. How you doing, Sam?
Doing great. Every time that the date in August goes up a day, it's a good day. Means we're getting
that. It is.
It's funny. Like we went from
much worse.
recording on August 19th, and you were like, "We're still in the dog days of August." And yesterday, August 20th, you were like, "We're getting there. We're almost through."
I think
we're basically breezing through August.
The way my brain works is anything that's a single digit day is early in the month. If it's in the 10s, it is the middle of the month, and if it's in the 20s, we're almost done.
The month's dead.
That's how my brain calculates it. But anyways, let's start with kind of non-Celtic. The Connecticut Sun took over TD Garden last night. As we're recording this, I was at the game as a fan. I know Noah was there as a reporter. I know a bunch of other people were there as a fan. I think Corrales was there as a fan. I think Gary was there covering the team for the Boston Globe. But it was awesome. It was a super cool environment, super cool game. They won. It was a close game for almost the entire thing, even though the Sparks are the WNBA equivalent of the Wizards. So they probably shouldn't have been in that close of a game, but the Sun pulled it out at the end. Some big buckets down the stretch. Alyssa Thomas came in clutch at the end. DJ Carrington was on fire the whole night. And it was just a super fun environment. It was super cool to see everyone show out for the Sun at TD Garden. The city of Boston was very clearly into it. Everyone was loving it. They set up a bunch of, I don't know how to explain it. The whole street across from TD was blocked off, and they had a stand here promoting this. They had a bus with a hoop on it. They had a bunch of stuff.
The hoop bus.
Yeah, the hoop bus. They were very clearly they brought out all the stops for the Sun. So it was a super fun night. Tiesha Harris had a big bucket at the end of the game too, to sort of seal it with an and one. It was a great environment, great crowd, great everything. It was just a super fun thing to be there for. And I will say it was nice to be there as a fan, just being there, cheering, et cetera, et cetera. It was super fun. I was there with some friends.
Not really having too much skin in the game.
Yeah, just kind of enjoying basketball. It was,
not saying there if they lose, I'm gonna have to hear my dumbass friend on the podcast.
Partially, just being able to cheer though, being able to be there and cheer and be able to get pumped up for it was great.
I mean, it looked like fun. I didn't get to watch live. I was with the lady yesterday, and we were watching other things, not basketball. But everybody that was involved with it seemed like they had a good time. The full court press that was put on about the game, good for them. Way to promote it. It's good that they sold it out. I saw a lot of people being they should bring a WNBA team to Boston. It would be fun if they did that. But I believe in relation to that, the Celtics ownership group has spoken and been Connecticut is our sister team. We're not going to bring in another franchise. And it sounds like if you're trying to get in the WNBA, the Sun will be your team if you're trying to stay local, which is fine. UConn women's basketball is a juggernaut of a team. Legacy,
they
history,
should move the Sun to
all
Boston.
Of it.
I think that'd be much
Boston
better.
Sun.
But they're not going.
What would you call them? Would you do alliteration?
I have no idea. I don't have any ideas.
Would there be beef when Seattle moved to OKC and the fans are "Fuck OKC"? we don't want to.
Maybe
the diehard Sun fans would be bring back our Sun.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I just think it's if you want to promote the team better, it's just better to have them in Boston than
it is.
Fuck all Mohegan random.
Especially with TD being the arena. If it was to be TD, I know a lot of the WNBA teams will not play at the biggest arena. Vegas plays not at T-Mobile Arena, but they play at the other, what is it, Michelob Ultra Arena or whatever it is. It's the smaller one. You guys went.
Yeah, it's in a casino.
So was Mohegan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They want you to go and bet on the game and then get rowdy in there.
I did bet on the game and I did lose my bets.
You lost?
I lost.
Were you the guys in the balcony screaming that I need 3 more points? Come on.
No, my friends were. I did not partake in
the worst people on the planet.
The Sun took over TD Garden. It was fun. It was a good time. They won the game against the Sparks. And I think they improved to 22-9 on the season now.
They made
I
the
can double check
finals
that, but
2
they're
years
really
ago,
good.
I believe. Not
Yeah,
last
sorry,
year.
20-7. I don't know how I mixed that up.
Not
They're the
bad.
second best team in the WNBA right now behind the Liberty, who are 24-4 right now. And the Sparks are 6-22. So not exactly the best in the league at the moment, but it was great. I had a good time. It's a very fun game. And even though Noah caught some crap on Twitter. She said one of the louder TD Garden moments I've experienced, and I just covered an NBA championship, and she got killed on social media for it. She was 100% right. Like she was absolutely right. Like the Celtics playoff crowds this year sucked. They were terrible. Like the whole playoffs up until even during the finals, they weren't as good. This was
They did
a loud
suck
crowd.
in the playoffs. I thought there was a flashpoint in the playoffs where Al Horford had the moment of throwing the ball off Dean Wade, and then everybody decided to be like good fans again. But up until that point, there was a lot of tension. So I saw the Noah tweet today, and for those of you that come in the comments to say Jack can't stop talking about Noah, I put this in the show today just to cover Jack. I put this in because I saw Noah getting killed today, and I thought it was interesting because I saw the thing and I was like, "What are we talking about?" Like Celtics, like exactly what Noah said. But Noah did raise some very good points when it comes to reasoning why last night's Connecticut Sun game at TD Garden may have garnered louder reactions than the Celtics have. They don't charge half your life savings to get in the door. They don't price out the diehard fans, the people that are willing to get rowdy. And instead of getting those people, you get people that are older and maybe don't want to make enough as much noise, and they have the money saved to be able to go to these things. So I think that's valid. I mean, listen, if you don't think it was loud in there, that's fine. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't have an opinion. But like people replying to Noah and being like, this is wrong. Why are you doing this? Like, what does it matter to you? Even if you disagree, like like is there really a stance that's like against the WNBA? Like there should not be. You could be indifferent, but why would you ever be against something?
People just are assholes. Like there's nothing else to say. Like obviously the loudest Celtics games are louder than it was there. Like that's not what Noah was saying. That's not what I'm saying. Like when Peyton Pritchard hit the half court shot, when they won the finals, when Al Horford, like there were moments in the finals, obviously it was louder. But like to say that this was on par with some of the Celtics games, like it was really, really loud
Sold
in that
out.
building when they were well, relatively speaking, sold out. There were a lot.
It wasn't sold out. They said it was.
They were. They probably sold out, but there were a lot of empty seats. But
Shame on them.
like the loudest it got at the end of the game when like they were making the comeback, when they were hitting big shots, when Harris hit the N1, Alyssa Thomas had an N1, they had a bunch of steals. Like it was getting as loud in there as it was for some of the playoff games. And I think that's one testament to how, packed out and how much they enjoyed the Sun, and two, a testament to like playoff games, people just didn't get as hyped this year. And I think it was just because they were so anxious and they were expecting the Celtics to win. So when they were losing or weren't performing on par, they weren't as hyped. So I do think it was as loud as some Celtics games. Obviously, it's not gonna it didn't reach the same peak. Like she's not saying, and I'm not saying it's louder than the Celtics games are, but it was as loud as some of the games that were at least a little bit underwhelming during the playoffs, which I think is a valid take.
Yeah, I don't think it's outrageous, especially to critique the Celtics crowds this year. Because, I mean, listen, Noah made really good points on Twitter. People were tense. They were worried. I couldn't watch a game without a heart monitor. My heart rate was going on through the roof anytime anything went wrong. So people at the game, they are not as into it as they should be. Like people that went to this game yesterday, it's not life or death. Every Celtics playoff game, to some of us, felt like life or death. Whether it should have or should not have is another story, but it did at times. Yeah. Yeah, she said one of the louder TD Garden moments. Yeah. So she's just saying it's on par. Anybody getting mad? I don't know what to tell you.
A lot of people were mad. It didn't make any sense to me. Anyways, next thing, Hoops Hype put out their yearly list of the best small forwards in the NBA. They do positional rankings every single year, and Jayson Tatum was number 1 on their list this year. I believe it was Tatum, then KD, then LeBron topping their rankings. And a lot of people, shocker, were mad. They were mad that Tatum was number 1. Kawhi was 4th, Paul George 5th, Jimmy Butler 6th, Scotty Barnes, DeMar DeRozan, Brandon Ingram, Franz Wagner wrapping up the top 10. They did top 25. I'm not going to read all the names, but yeah, Tatum number 1. People were upset. shocker. Like that's the whole thing. But just he's number one, and I agree. I think he's the best small forward in the league. You can say whatever you want to say about LeBron and KD during Team USA, blah blah blah. I get it. This is best players in the NBA. This isn't best, whatever. This isn't based on what they did in the Olympics, and you can take that into account too. But I stand on it. I think Tatum's the best small forward in the NBA. He gets shit on and taken down a peg because his team's better. I don't think that's fair. I think you should rank it based on how good the player is, not how good their team is relative to all this bullshit. Like, I think he's the best player among the small forwards. I said I think he's the third best player in the league, and I stand on that. So I think he's the best small forward in the league, and that's clearly what Hoops Hype thinks too.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hoops Hype probably has it right. We felt like Tatum passed Durant in that Nets series a couple years ago. Like, it was so clear that Tatum outplayed him, and he had more in the tank than Durant did. And now Durant really hasn't been healthy over the last couple seasons. It's actually a little bit strange to see, coming from me, Durant above LeBron here just because of the health. Like, we talked about LeBron not long ago, Jack, and you were like, LeBron played like 70 games. Like, Durant missed a ton of time last year for Phoenix, and it was one of the reasons they ended up 6th in the West instead of higher. Like, that Suns team was hyped up in the offseason. They got Beal. It was going to be the big three. And then it was everybody's watching in street clothes. And Durant was a big part of that. Durant also has had like the most bizarre injuries since joining Phoenix, literally rolling his ankle in warmups right after being traded there. Imagine that happening to someone on the Celtics. That would drive me fucking nuts if that happened. And then you have Kawhi on the list too, like at 4. Like, he's the same story as KD. I can't stay healthy. Tatum, whether or not you feel like he is the best small forward in the league, he is right now. Whether you think he's like at the level of some of these other guys at their peaks, like peak Durant, peak LeBron, is he at that level? Probably not. But right now, he just hit it at the right spot to be the best guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I saw something on Twitter the other week that was like listing the best player in the NBA at every certain thing, like the best passer, the best, screener, the best. Like, they went down a huge long list of everything, and at the end, the guy went the best all around, like most versatile whatever player in the NBA, and he said Tatum, and people got mad online, blah blah blah. But I think that's a reason why people don't recognize how good Tatum is, because he's not the best scorer, he's not the best defender, he's not the best playmaker, he's not the best rebounder, he's not the best whatever, but he is like across the board elite to great at every single skill. And there are very, very, very few players in the NBA who can lay claim to that. And I think that's a reason why, at least for me, he's like number 3 in the league. Because like you look down the top X players, like Jokic is number 1 because he is one of the best offensive players I've ever seen with my 2 eyes, and he's a good defender, at least like underrated at the very least, right? So that makes him better. Giannis is one of the most dominant offensive players, probably one of the best two-way players in the last 20 years, 2 defensive player of the years, and MVP. Like, that's why he's up there. Luka's not a good defender, just objectively not a good defender. I think Shea is going to pass Tatum by the end of the year. I think he'll be the 3rd best player in the league, but he hasn't done it consistently enough to put him there. And I think I said this, like, you look at Shea, he's a little undersized in terms, like, comparatively to Tatum, but like good defender, great scorer, not as good, like isn't the best 3-point shooter, but like I think he has that similar build to Tatum where it's like he does everything really well. And I think Embiid is close to that too, but he's just not healthy enough to do it consistently and have the winning to go along with it. But then like LeBron is older and he is not as good of a defender as he once was, all this stuff. And KD is older, like Tatum all around, like, is just great to elite at every single thing on the court. And there's just so few players that are at the level that he is at everything. And I think that's what makes him such a good player, his ability to just sort of do everything.
No, it's absolutely true. And the best part about that is he gives the Celtics whatever they need on any given day, except for not his fault, but like off ball movement and playing off the ball and catching and shooting and stuff, just because they don't use him that way. But if they consistently use him that way, I'm sure he would get used to it, find a rhythm, and start to knock down those shots and really be a threat that way. But as the focal point of the offense and consistently seeing 3 guys, he does a pretty good job. Like, all of those playoff stats, you can look at the percentages and be like, wow, I think Tatum was inefficient. He didn't average a lot of points. But keep in mind, everybody's watching him every time he puts the ball on the floor. It's not easy. And he did a good job of staying patient, making good decisions. And as the playoffs went on, he consistently went to the basket. He made good decisions and realized that he was bigger than everybody. So if he's able to do that again this year, I'm not convinced Shea is going to pass him. I think Shea's going to get a lot more juice this year. Shea got a ton of juice last year. People were very high on him, crediting him for OKC's success, as they should. That's a good team, and he's the best player. Plays both ends of the ball. And as they continue to grow, Chet's going to be better. They got Alex Caruso now. J-Dub's going to be better too as he continues to age, right? Of course, Shea's going to be the star, and they're going to continue to win games and beat teams in the West. But Tatum Celtics are going to be good too, like obviously. And he may have unlocked a new ability in terms of, hey, I have this size and I'm actually going to use it. Watch out.
We'll see. I'm hoping he just comes out and has another great season. And I mean, I think at the end of the day, people should have disliked Tatum because
hateable guy.
It is what it is. Yeah,
the worst. He just opened a boys and girls club gym for kids in St. Louis. The worst guy ever.
No aura though, so it doesn't matter. Fuck
no
him.
Aura either. No kid that plays basketball in that boys and girls club gym is going to have any aura about them.
Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, and unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become a part of the Prize Picks community today. Preseason football is underway, but you can also pick more or less on 2024 season stats on Prize Picks. Will Patrick Mahomes throw for more or less than 4,300 yards? Will CJ Stroud's sophomore season result in more or less than 4,150 yards? Enter your season picks before week 1 kicks off. Prize Picks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Me and Sam use Prize Picks all season long during the Celtics playoff run, especially in the finals, Eastern Conference Finals, Eastern semifinals. In the first round, we were picking more or less on Tatum dunks, on Drew Holiday threes, and always pick the less on the opposing star just to add some spice to the game. Download the Prize Picks apps today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, run your game. Next thing, following up on what we mentioned and potted about the other day, Jeff Bezos might not actually be interested in buying the Celtics. From Nick Wingfield at The Information said there is, quote, zero truth to the rumors Bezos is interested in buying the Celtics. We just don't know what's happening. And I feel like it's inevitable that Bezos is behind one of these things, whether it be him wanting to leak that he is interested or wanting to leak that he's not interested. But all of the stuff that Bill Simmons said about, oh, he wants to buy the Celtics is now being completely refuted, completely like the opposite by Nick Wingfield of The Information. Zero truth, says he's not buying the Celtics. So we just will have no idea until there's any actual reporting on it. And until Shams or Woj puts it out, don't believe anything. That's how I'm going to go about it now.
Good. I'm fucking glad that this is over. It's not over, but
what do you mean?
What's over? Have now more of a answer on his stance. Like, it's not so much speculation. This is a legitimate report, right? Like, the last couple of videos we did, it was based on dudes with microphones in front of them speculating. And Bill Simmons is tied in, and he's not a bum. Like, he's not a nobody. He absolutely does have people telling him things, and he makes educated takes. But like the angle where people were saying Jeff Bezos' biggest competitor drops out of the race for the Celtics, FSG, because Tony Maserati said something on 98.5 The Sports Hub is fucking crazy. I'm glad there's like an actual solid report. And if it's somebody close to Bezos, like this was obvious, Jeff Bezos wants to get this out here.
For context,
quit fucking pulling me into this, is what he's saying.
Nick Wingfield is a technology correspondent based in Seattle for The Times.
Yes.
He covers Amazon, Microsoft, and emerging technologies. So it sounds like he would probably know something.
Most reliable source so far. More reliable than Tony Maz, unfortunately.
Probably more reliable on the subject than Bill Simmons, but I don't know what Bill Simmons knows. So
Tony Maz, tough to time. Tough to top Tony Maz. In the dream of the Garden of Amazon, dead.
Probably dead. Probably dead. Like I'm not believing anything until Shams or Woj comes out. So I'll excuse me. I'll leave it at that. I got nothing.
Also, when the video came out, and also when the news went on Reddit, people were like, "I hate Bezos. I hate Bezos. I hate Bezos." And I get it. People don't like billionaires. whoever buys the team's going to be a billionaire, and you're probably not going to like them leading up to buying the team. I'm just telling you right now. If you don't like billionaires, you're probably going to fucking hate whoever buys the Celtics.
Relatively speaking, Bezos, some of those like top guys are like particularly shady.
Yes.
Put it
No,
that way,
like
but
I'm not disputing that they should like him or shouldn't like him. It's just like whoever it's going to be has lots of money,
yeah,
probably got it in some
there's gonna
shady
be
way. Get ready.
yeah, level your expectations. Next thing, Kevin Garnett recently said something that wouldn't be on the show if it wasn't August, but we'll talk about it anyways. Said that the Celtics would have won the title in 2011 if Shaq didn't get hurt. Keep in mind, this is how old was Shaq? 40, 94? Like at the time, Shaq was 38 years old, played in 37 regular season games, 20 minutes a game, averaged a career low 9 rebounds and 9 points and 3.5 rebounds. Or 4.8 rebounds, I should say. 3.5. I was reading defensive rebounds. But KG said they would have won if they were healthy. That's it. That's it. And you saying it in the context of like he compared this to LeBron potentially joining Golden State. And I'm sorry, KG, just not even close to the same thing.
Same thing.
Just wouldn't, like, not even in the same universe of the same thing. You're talking about Shaquille O'Neal, who at that point hadn't been an all-star, or I guess he was an all-star 2 years prior, which is crazy, but hadn't averaged like the same points like that you're used to seeing from him in maybe 7-8 years, versus a guy who has made how many consecutive all-star teams or how many like seasons of ridiculous efficiency, ridiculous numbers. Like LeBron James is still an all NBA caliber player, and Shaq hadn't been that in almost a while at that point.
It's funny that this came out today because I told you this before we started, but I found this Reddit post. It comes from Larry Bird 33 on the Celtics Reddit. Which overachieving Celtic team would win between 2012 and 2018? Now, I swear to God, there's a point to this, so I'm not going to read all of it. The part describing the 2012 Celtics. Realistically, I think the KG Pierce Ray title window stretched from July 2007 when they acquired Garnett to April 2011 when Shaq got injured 5 minutes into his return. This right here is why KG feels the way that he feels. Earlier during the 2010-11 season, the addition of Shaq was proven to make a significant impact. The team opened the season going 23-4, 70 win pace, and looked absolutely dominant. They beat the piss out of the Heat on opening night. But there was enough confidence after Shaq got hurt to trade Kendrick Perkins for Jeff Green, who was an upgrade on paper, but Shaq's mid-April return lasted all of 5 minutes, and Green needed heart surgery, so they ended up getting cooked around 2 for 5 games. But we don't have to go through the rest of it. I just thought that was an interesting addition to the Shaq thing because I'm sure the guys on that team don't look at everything quite the way that we do, which is kind of logically when it comes to age. These guys knew Shaq throughout his entire career. They played with him. They played against him. They felt like he was giving them enough to give him a shot to win a title. And he was obviously proving that he was fitting well enough for them to trade Perk, which turned out to be a massive mistake. But nonetheless, they were putting up good numbers as a team when everybody was healthy. So it is a woulda, coulda, shoulda, what if thing, but I can see his angle. Now, I don't necessarily get the LeBron to the Warriors tie-in, but
that's what I was going to say. Like, I totally get thinking you would have won if Shaq was healthy. That's obviously a big rotation piece. Your starting center at the time. You go from him to Nenad Kirstic because you traded Perk. Probably not ideal when you're trying to win a championship. But comparing Celtic Shaq to current day LeBron is a take.
Yeah, because Celtic Shaq's literally a meme.
Yeah, exactly. But that's also quite the interesting
context to the 2011 run because they did lose in 5 to Miami. They lost game 4 in overtime. Not that changes anything, but like they were a Pierce fadeaway for the win away from being 2-2. So it wasn't complete.
Yeah, no. They had a chance, but still a crazy comparison. Anyways, next thing, last Celtics thing before the email is something random that I wanted to put on here just for the sake of having it documented. I recently wrote an article for Hardwood Houdini looking at potential Horford replacements in the 25 draft class just because it's August. That applies to podcasting and writing. But 2, they have been clearly trying to find potential Al Horford replacements in Anton Watson, Xavier Tillman, and I think both of those guys are going to be really good for what it's worth. But if you're still like trying to throw as many darts at the dartboard as you can, it wouldn't be a bad idea to take one in next year's draft as well if you feel really highly about a prospect. So I thought I would come on here and read you the 5 guys that I noted just in case one of them turns out to be the next Al Horford, that I can come back and say, look, I saw it then, just for the sake of documenting it on the internet.
You should, when you move, get a whiteboard, keep in the background, write the list there so it's on every single show.
Okay. I'm going to do a Drew Holiday version too, so I'll keep them both on there.
Okay.
But first one,
please enlighten me.
First one is JT Toppin, not related to Obi Toppin or Jacob Toppin, so a different Toppin. But he plays for Texas Tech right now, spent last season with New Mexico, is transferring for the upcoming season. In his freshman year, New Mexico averaged 12.4 points, 9.1 rebounds, less than an assist, but he also averaged a steal and almost 2 blocks a game. Shot 62% from the field, 34% from 3 on very little volume. Shot less than 1 3 a game, but showed he has a little potential to shoot from distance. 6'9", plays the forward position, but you could see him playing some small 5, 6'9", 225. I mean, that's about it. We don't have to like get into anything, but
good size,
one guy.
height and weight wise. Skill set sounds like it fits. See how college treats him this year.
Next one was Jaren Stevenson. This might be one of my more favorite picks of the bunch. He plays at Alabama, has played 1 year there. It's going back to school for his sophomore season. 6'11", 210, played in 37 games, averaged 16.6 points. Not a great rebounder, 2.7 a game. That's the biggest concern with him. Didn't put up the same blocks and steal stats, but he's a mobile-ish guy. He can get around. He is adept at keeping up with guys. Not very efficient his freshman season, which is probably why he wanted to go back. Didn't shoot a lot, only took 4.27 shots a game because he only played 16 minutes his freshman season. Shot 42%, 32% on under 3 attempts a game, but he's willing to shoot. So he is like if he shows progress in his sophomore year guy, but he didn't get a lot of run his freshman year. So I think going back is definitely going to help.
Yeah, going back is never a bad thing if you're like kind of on the fringe. Maybe we'll get drafted, maybe not. Clearly didn't get the opportunity you were hoping for as a freshman. Like, if you go back to college in that situation, what you're going to do is hopefully get drafted in the first round if you show out and make a little bit more money. Plus, nowadays with the NIL, my God, someone punch the shit out of me, please. You can get paid while being in college, so there's even less of the risk of, oh, what if I get hurt? I'll never get paid for this. You will not make as much money with NIL, but you will make something, which is not bad at all.
Yeah, it'll make some money. Next guy is Adu Thiero, maybe Thiero. I don't know if it's Thiero or Thiero. But let's see, I'm just pulling up his real GM. He played at Arkansas, or he's going to play at Arkansas this upcoming season. Spent 2 years at Kentucky. Wonder why he moved to Arkansas. Shock. Following Calipari. But he played 9 minutes his freshman year, 21 minutes his sophomore year, so took a jump this past year, sophomore season. Averaged 7.2. 5 rebounds, over 1 assist, over a block a game, 49% from the field, 32% from deep. Took less than 1 3 games, so he's not a proven shooter by any means, but he's shown that he can make them. 6'8", 220, 20 years old right now. Going to be coming off his junior year if and when he enters the next draft. But yeah, there you go.
I think actually if you're the Celtics.
It says draft eligible in 2026, but that doesn't make sense to me because he spent 2 years in college already, but that's the context for you. I don't know why it says that.
He's playing college football. Could have served 3 years of college first.
Anyways.
No, like if you're the Celtics, going after these older players is a great idea because 1, they're more developed and ready to hop into lineups physically. And 2, as they progress and grow, hopefully reaching their physical prime around 26, they'll still be on rookie contracts. You don't have to spend and waste the rookie window where you don't have to pay them as much money, as fucked as that sounds. But from a salary cap standpoint, on them just like getting their feet wet, learning how to play in the NBA, waiting a year for them to put on muscle, like Jordan Walsh, who is hopefully going to be fine. But, his rookie year was essentially development year, and that's fine. And If you like him, you can pay him with bird rights and it'll all be okay. But somebody like Anton Watson or even Shireman is so much more exciting in the now prospect because, one, they're more physically developed than somebody like Walsh. And two, if they show out, you're going to have them, again, up until they're around 26, 27, instead of having to re-up at 22.
Definitely. Next guy, Trevon Brazil. Spent 1 year at Missouri and then is coming off 2 years at Arkansas, going in for, I think it'll technically be his junior season because he redshirted his first year at Arkansas after transferring. But played 26 minutes last year, 8.9 points a game, 5.9 rebounds, over a block a game, 49% from the field, 35% from three, and 2.6 attempts, I should say. 6'10", 220, a little skinny for the big man position, so he needs to put on some weight, but another good option. He entered the 24 draft this year and then withdrew, so he was like testing the waters a little bit, but is going back to college for another year. Would be an older prospect when drafted again, like Tiero, but just another guy with a similar skill set. And then the last guy, Kerry Booth, is going to Illinois, but he spent last year at, checking here, Notre Dame, 6'10", 205, another skinnier guy, 6.4 points a game, 4.3 rebounds. Similar things where not very efficient his freshman season, 39% from the field, 29.7% from three. So just needs to work on that, but has the skill set, the raw skill set of a guy who can stretch the floor as a big man. Just needs to put a little weight, get a little more mobile, and work on the efficiency. But just 5 guys to keep an eye on if you're looking through a Celtics lens during the college season.
Make the list.
Anyways,
Jack put an article on Hardwood Houdini, so if you forget, go check it out. It's up online. Maybe he'll even link in the description for you. Save you the search.
Definitely won't remember, but
okay, we'll go find it.
You guys can find it. Just Al Horford replace. If you search Al Horford 2025 draft, it should just come up. Yeah. Anyways,
a lot of people searching that.
Exactly. That's why it'll come up. The NFL season is almost here, and as much as we love Celtics basketball here at How About Them Celtics, I love watching Pats games in person. I saw the Chiefs game this past year. They kept it close for some of the game, but then Taylor Swift took over the Jumbotron, and the Chiefs ended up winning that one. But make sure you are ready to use Game Time. Game Time is the best place to find your tickets for all live sporting events, concerts, everything like that. I saw Noah Khan in concert recently too, and you know Game Time is the place to be. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You look at some of the games on Game Time right now, and there's plenty of good stuff. The Diamondbacks are getting ready to play the Red Sox soon. The Red Sox are gearing up for a potential playoff push. Hopefully they can get out of the wild card, and make sure that you have Game Time to get your tickets for all of those. I love the fact that you can filter out fees, or filter in fees, I should say, so you know the exact price you are paying on Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest priced, guaranteed. Let's go to the email here. Reminder, as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. We read them every single podcast, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. So if you want to get in touch with us, you want us to read your your message on the pod, send it in there. Starting off, RJ, couple emails from him today. RJ in quote, paper baseball. Hey folks, Jack asked for a little more detail about my baseball replay league and the game behind it. Happy to oblige. Yes. Don't know what this is.
We had a cliffhanger last time.
The game I play is called APBA Baseball, or APBA, and is a board game format. Each MLB player in particular season has a card that tries to replicate their hitting performance. There are game boards for each on-base situation, from bases empty to bases full, with each at-bat resolved by rolling 2 6-sided dice and checking the result against who's on base. The pitcher's quality grade and how stout or porous the defense is. As in real baseball, offensive managers can call for a hit and run or sacrifice bunt, while defensive managers can issue intentional walks and play the infield in to try to prevent a runner from scoring. And just like in baseball, subbing in pinch hitters, pinch runners, relief pitchers, and defensive replacements are part of APBA 2. Each year, the game company releases new sets of cards for the prior season. So the 24 season I just completed in the 6-team AAAL, the All-American ABPA League, was based on the stats for players from 2023. My team, the Tracy California. Tracy Thunderbirds were led by shortstop Corey Seager, third baseman Austin Riley, and right fielder Kyle Tucker. Our league is made up of managers from across America. Several years ago, the game company created a web-based version of the game, and our league uses that to play our games and track our game stats. I've been in the league for 3 years, and I've now lost in the World Series in 2 of them. To make it basketball related for a moment, the ABPA used to have a pro ball game, but retired it at least a decade or 2 ago. Because the flow of basketball doesn't have discrete events the way baseball, football, bowling, or golf, yes, ABPA has those too, it is harder to get a good board game format. Currently, the Stratomatic is the leader on that front. If anyone in HBTC land is a baseball nerd who would like more info, I'm happy to talk with you offline. Be well, RJ. Wow, that sounds way more in depth than
RJ, it sounds like you just need to get yourself an Xbox and play MLB The Show.
You should play MLB
You could play Diamond Dynasty. You could get your cards that way. And you could play online.
Why not?
It does sound fun.
Get them on the sticks.
I don't want to swat it down by any means because the creativity that goes into it is like nice. Like that's a cool thing. The thought that goes into creating the boards and everything is awesome.
Yeah, that's dope. Thanks, RJ. Last email from RJ again. It's always a good time to beat LA. Evening, folks. So my only question about the Sun beating the LA Sparks and TD Garden is how much Coach Mazzulla will use it to motivate the Celtics. That was a great game, and I hope the Celtics fans watch it live. If not, go check it out wherever you can. Beating LA and Boston was always sweet. Be well, RJ. There were beat LA chants at the game, Sam, so you'll be happy to hear that. It was great.
I did see that online. Good for the fans.
It's a good time. Even the arena crowd pumped it in afterwards, too. It came up naturally, then the arena crowd pumped it in, so we'd keep doing it. It was a good time. They knew what they were doing. Respect.
They should tell teams that they beat that they got sunburned.
People were yelling SPF 100. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Bring your SPF 100.
I like that.
That was my friend's bit. Shout out Q. Anyways, let's go to the NBA section here and start with something that I guess you could technically call NBA adjacent. Shams. It's Shams Charania, and I always say Shams. Shams is leaving Stadium after a long time with Stadium. I thought it was interesting that it didn't say anything about the Athletics, so maybe he's staying there. It's crazy that we're getting news about reporter free agency, but Shams is technically going to be a free agent and or maybe not with Stadium anymore. Yeah, that's it. I've always thought Stadium was the more for lack of a better term, ratty of the Stadium is FanDuel TV. It is all of the stuff.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
because I was like, oh, he's probably leaving Stadium because he's going to do FanDuel TV like full time. That was my guess.
I think FanDuel TV is Stadium.
Okay. Well,
maybe not. Maybe not.
I might be well, maybe he's leaving Stadium because I believe Stadium is the video stuff he does. Anytime he's on camera, I think that's Stadium.
Yes, you're right.
And now he's involved with FanDuel TV too. So he's probably like, I don't need to do this anymore. I have my on-camera thing. I have my writing thing. I'll do that and then continue
You're right. My
fix
bad.
betting lines by reporting false stuff.
It's on me. My bad, Stadium.
It's okay. Stadium's better for it. They're no longer employing King Rat.
Shams King Rat?
Out on Shams.
Yeah, got it.
I mean, directly like reporting stuff that you know isn't true so the betting lines will move is fucked.
Yeah.
Not proven guilty yet, but
yeah, I was going to say.
I feel like you would not looking good.
You would live in a world where you are guilty until proven innocence, and that tells the people everything they should know about you.
Hey, man, there's a lot of guilty until proven innocent out there. I will say that.
That's the wrong answer.
OJ was guilty after being proven innocent.
All right, next thing. Jesus Christ. You love to make me edit. I'm not editing that, so you can.
You don't have to edit that.
Kevin Durant recently spoke about social media stuff. I don't know where this interview was from. It was an event, and Jalen Rose was moderating, and he was asked about his quote unquote proactive approach on social media. And he said, yeah, the whole point of having social media is to interact with people, right? So you follow me for a chance to maybe interact with me. He said, so depending on how I feel, I'm going to interact. If you troll, I'm going to troll back. If you show love, I'm going to show love back. I try to reciprocate the energy as much as possible to give people more of an in-depth experience of who I am. And I like that because I feel like a lot of players either don't do that or scared to do it or just want to play PR safety. And Kevin Durant has built himself up to the point where he doesn't really have to do that. So
I love KD for this. KD being on Twitter and talking shit to people is excellent.
I love KD.
That's how I think all pro athletes should be. They could literally own anyone and be like, I mean, Durant does it. He's like, go get ready for work. Like, he just replies to people and is like, go get ready to go work your job that you probably don't want to work. Like, he's playing basketball for a living. How can you roast him? I mean, you could say he played basketball bad, but he has something for you, for sure. Durant is the man. And it's the biggest blessing ever that he accidentally forgot to switch to his burner. So everybody knows he was just on there talking shit anyway.
Yeah, that was an elite day. My favorite was when those people like were like shit talking him on the sidelines and tried to go for a high five.
It's just a lady like with her hand way out.
And then she goes, no, it's okay. He hosts a podcast. Like that gives you the right to shit talk an NBA player. And he just like laughed at him and walked away. People need to be serious. Next thing, Carlik Jones, who has been playing really well for South Sudan over the past couple of years, chose Europe over the NBA in terms of hooping. This is from Eurohoops.net. He said, quote, there were a few offers from the NBA, but it's not as many as reported. Many people were worried and nervous, but you shouldn't believe that everything is written. It's true that I received some offers, but I knew from the beginning that Partizan was the ideal club for me. It seemed like the best decision. He said, they told me how much they respect my game. I had several conversations about my role and I should expect from the team, but also what they expect from me. For me, it came out of nowhere. I didn't expect Partizan's invitation. I was a free agent. And that's when you know that's when you don't know what kind of offers you'll get. It's up to you to work your way up and hope that an invitation like this comes. And I'm glad it did. It's just interesting because I think what I kind of wanted to use as a springboard for, even if it's just a brief conversation, NBA needs expansion teams, man. Carlik Jones is a damn good player. He's undersized, and I think it's just natural. Like undersized players don't get as many chances. He's 6'1". He's only 26 years old, and he's been absolutely killing the international scene for the past 2 years, and he just can't get another shot in the NBA because there's just not enough spots or playing time. And even the teams who offered him probably wouldn't give him playing time. And so it's just like, it sucks. Like you need expansion. It needs to come. He's a good player, and he's just not going to get a chance because there's not enough room. In the Olympics this year, played in 3 games, 18 points, 7.7 assists, 5 rebounds, 46-27 splits. But in the FIBA World Cup last year, 20.4 points, 10.4 assists, 5 rebounds, 48-42 splits. Like he's clearly a good player. And I mean, he'll do well at Partizan. That's a really good international club, but still.
It's funny that you mentioned this because I remember you telling me about him when he was on Chicago, and you're like, I like this guy. Like he could be something.
Did I?
Yeah. And because I was like, I know his name from somewhere, and I like looked it up, and I was like, yes, that's where I know it from. And
for me.
The fact that he's not like getting any opportunity with a team like Chicago, and like you can understand, like you can point to the guys that would be in front of him easy. Like, of course, you're gonna play DeSumo, and I just fucking blanked on the other guy. Oh, Kobe White ahead of him. But like,
it was Summer League last year. Yes. Okay, I remember now.
Yeah,
you're right.
And it was just like these guys in the NBA are so limited in what they're allowed to do. Like a player like Carlik Jones is better off going to play in the EuroLeague because he gets an opportunity to just enjoy playing.
Oh my God, they're stacking this KK Partizan roster.
Yeah,
holy shit.
Who's on there?
So the 24-25 roster so far: Carlik Jones, Bruno Caboclo, who has also just dominated the Olympics,
Sterling Celtic training camp invitee.
Yep, Sterling Brown, Isaac Bonga, Frank Ntilikina, Dwayne Washington, and Poku. Just stacking it. My God, just stacking this roster.
I mean, they're all being intrigued by like, oh shit, I can actually go here and play basketball without like having to be on a tight leash, and I don't have to worry about having a green light. Like they probably just want these guys to play team ball and play free flowing. Like you're not like confined to the corner on offense or like, you know, having to sit there and watch the star play. It's
last year had a pretty okay roster too. Bruno was on the team. PJ Dozier was on the team.
Former
Tristan Vucevic was on the team. He's on the Wizards now.
Yep.
James Nunnally, if you remember him. Frank Kaminsky. So they've always just had a really good team. And now Carlik Jones will be on the team. Exum was on the team a couple years ago before getting another chance in the league. I wonder if there's anybody else. I feel like every year it's looking like that somebody just makes away. Yamadar was on the team a few years ago. I'm just like looking through the rosters now. But yeah, Carlik Jones chose to play there. Probably because he's gonna get actual minutes instead of riding the bench.
I think it was Keith
He'll
Smith
probably make more money too, low key.
who told us this. I don't know if it was on the show. I hope I'm not like leaking what he said to us in the Celtics blog. But it was like a lot of players in the NBA that like become role players are there because they just realized fast enough that's what they're going to be, so they got good at it instead of like trying to deny that.
Yeah.
And, like I'm eventually gonna be the guy, and like there's only so many of the guys. And if you want to be the guy, then you end up doing what Carlik Jones did and you go play overseas, which is fine if that's what you want to do. Like Bryce Cotton, who used to play for PC like 10 years ago, megastar when he was at PC. He got drafted by Utah, played there for a little bit, and now he's been with Perth in the NBL forever. He's like winning MVPs and stuff. Like,
who is it?
He's
What's
a
his name?
legend in Australia, Bryce Cotton. But every once in a while, I see stuff on Twitter about him just because like people from PC I follow or whatever, like repost clips of him hitting big shots. Like he's made himself a legend in Perth. Like Australia's not a bad place to live. It's just real far away from everything.
Very far away. How long has he been there? Let's see. Oh my gosh, yeah, he's been with Perth since like 2016. He's
He's been
playing there.
nasty.
That's crazy. He's a damn good player. Yeah. Every once in a while, I think I get intrigued in trying to watch early games. Just no way to do
You
it.
just
There's
can't.
I feel like there's
Because
no
they're
way
at the
to do
same
it.
time as the NBA.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like there's no like where they broadcast. Like I feel like it'd be difficult to find a place to find them.
You think the NBA would like partner with them? Maybe they don't want to do that.
Hmm.
But you think they would just for like certain draft guys, right? Like Topic was supposed to be the first pick or one of the top picks this year for the whole season, and
They
then
did
he
it for
got hurt.
Wemby. They streamed some of Wemby's
Yeah, they started
games,
doing
but
for
that was a different level, I guess. Anyways,
Well, they were having games over here for Wemby.
It's
People
true.
Go watch him play Scoot and stuff.
It's true. All right, Reddit post of the day. What is
Reddit
it?
post of the day comes on the NBA subreddit as I open the link. Comes from user Lopia182 with the heat flare. Post reads, which current or recently retired NBA players will make fans 10 plus years from now wonder, why weren't they a bigger deal because of their counting stats? I think a good example of this for a long retired player is Alex English. If you look at English's stats, it's very apparent that he was a prolific NBA scorer. In fact, he scored the most total points in the NBA throughout the 1980s. Why isn't he a bigger deal? Despite his eye-popping scoring numbers, he was a poor defender who played the majority of his career with the Denver Nuggets, with several of the worst defensive teams in the NBA history during the quote-unquote English era. Do you spend some time with the Celtics, or am I tripping? I feel like he played end-of-career
I don't think
seasons.
I don't think so. I can look though. I think Stackhouse is a good example. He was a monster with the counting stats. He averaged like 20 plus a game multiple times. He did not. Alex English never played for the Celtics.
Oh, I thought that.
But like Jerry Stackhouse, put up monster numbers. He retired a long time ago, but like he averaged 30 a game for one season, but it was just empty stats on a bad Pistons team. So like no one cared. But he like his career averages were 17, 3-3, and he was a two-time All-Star, all-rookie team, averaged 34-5 one season on actually not too bad efficiency. And just it's like no one doesn't matter because he was not on good teams.
Zach LaVine. This is the Zach LaVine question.
Sure.
They're gonna be like, this guy was nasty. Why weren't his teams better? Truly, like the world may never know, but he has just been cursed with just shit teams. And
Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal is a perfect example for this. I feel like another good guy is forgive me. Completely blanking. I had it, lost it.
Yeah, it's gone. Goodbye.
It's gone.
DeMar DeRozan. Feel like could be another big one.
DeRozan was the guy. DeRozan
was
the
it?
guy.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
There's that. There's let's see what else. What else here? CJ McCollum.
CJ McCollum, number one answer. We should do this like a game show where you try and guess.
Okay.
CJ McCollum, nephew's years from now, we'll look at his stats, obviously focus on the scoring numbers and be like, why wasn't he an all-star?
Yep. Let's see. What else do I got here?
There's one that I don't think you're going to guess.
Give me a year. No. Give me what year, like I'm from, or can you not do that?
What year?
Or a team or something. Give me a clue.
I'll give you two teams.
Okay.
Warriors and Mavs and also Milwaukee.
Warriors, Mavs, Milwaukee. Monte Ellis?
Yeah, Monte Ellis.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
now is one of the emptiest 20-point per game scores ever. Comment reads.
I see it. Boogie Cousins.
DeMarcus Cousins is a weird one because he was a good stats, bad team guy, but he was also considered like the best center in the NBA.
Dude,
for a
he
stretch
was
of time.
so fucking good for a few years. Bro, he
And
averaged
they made the playoffs in New Orleans when he was there. He just got hurt.
He averaged 27, 11, and 5 and 1.4, 1.3 on 45, 36 splits. That's insane. Like he was nasty. He was taking
Remember
5
when he
threes a
joined the
game
Warriors?
too.
The
I
world was
know.
over.
And then he didn't do shit.
And then it was like the Celtics should have signed him. Those were the last two teams. Why didn't Danny go get him? He could have saved all of us.
Yeah. Everyone was all pissed off.
Let's see.
Ooh,
this is a good one.
Hmm.
Ready?
Sure.
Donovan Mitchell. He's not popular
Donovan
with
Mitchell?
other players, but he has more 40-plus points than Jokic, Shea, and Tatum.
Yeah, I can see it. Kevin Martin. Was a good one. You remember Kevin Martin? He's a bucket.
I know.
Rudy Gay.
There's a guy in my town, Kevin Martin,
Mm,
and I just always think of him. That's why I laughed.
I see. Here's one for you. Goran Dragic.
So here's the thing about Dragic, right? I feel like Dragic is different than these guys. I think Dragic had more of like a Linsanity run where when he was playing, he was hyped up and he was playing well and he made an all-star team. But until like basically he was out of the league, he was still kind of impacting winning. Like when the Celtics played him in the playoffs, I was like, fuck this guy. I'm so sick and tired of watching him. Like,
Yeah, but
he was good.
You're thinking that from the Celtics lens, though. Like, if you 20 years from now, you look at Goran Dragic's stat page, you'll be like, wait, why have I never heard of this guy? He averaged 20, 16, 16, 14, 20, 17, 16, 13, all on good splits, and was like a 15-plus point scorer for over a decade.
Did he play in the finals? Yeah, he played in the finals in the bubble.
Yeah, but it's all relative. Like no one's
I know
gonna
it's
remember,
relative.
like,
I'm just trying to think.
Yeah.
I think I'm not saying that you're missing the point. Like that's a good answer. Like all-star guy, good stats. But it's weird that he probably will be forgotten, but he was a good stats, good team guy.
Yeah, for most of them. Like when he's average, I mean, not when he's an all-star. Like
He was on a Miami team that made the playoffs when he was an all-star.
Yeah,
right?
but if you're talking good team, bad team, good stats, and you're mentioning Donovan Mitchell, then Goran Dragic on that Heat team
Yeah,
qualifies under the
it's true.
same
It's true. It's
under
true.
the same boat.
That
Donovan Mitchell
wasn't
was
mine. That was someone
I know.
else's.
I'm just saying Donovan Mitchell was a 1 seed multiple times.
Somebody said Jeremy Grant was a problem in all caps.
Jeremy Grant, David Lee,
former
Al
Celtic.
Jefferson.
He was good when he was with the Celtics. I remember. I was like, "Holy
He
shit, this
was
guy is
good.
like good. He does like the dirty work."
All right, ready?
When
I
they
got
trade.
a different question for you. I want you to predict the next one. So like all of the rookies right now, who's going to turn into that?
Let's
have
like
my
make it the
answer.
first couple year guys.
Yeah, I know. I have my answer.
Let's not limit it to okay.
I have the objectively correct answer for you.
The objectively correct answer. All right, give me a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Poole.
No.
Jordan Poole's a good answer.
That's a fine answer.
I also
Jalen
think
Green.
Jalen Green is a great answer.
Yep.
I was going to say Cade, but I think the Pistons are – and also Jalen Green was better at the end of last year.
He was better. Sure. I just don't know how many amazing teams he's going to be on.
If he gets it together, he could be on some competitive teams with Houston.
Maybe.
Depends if he's like willing to play off the ball and is willing to play with
my prediction is they trade him before they make the playoffs.
The West is good this year, so I'm like hesitant to be like, oh, you don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year? Like
No.
you being like, no, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. It's not a
No.
crazy thing to say.
I think they're going to see Reed Shepherd, realize the impact he makes on winning is probably better than what they'll get out of Jalen Green. Say, let's look at this from a Reed Shepherd, Alperen Şengün, Amen Thompson perspective with Jabari Smith as well. What's the odd man out? Probably the guy who needs the ball in his hands, is just like a score first guy, not much else. Ta-da. You know what I'm saying? Trade him for a better point guard, something else. And I'm not saying it's going to happen. This isn't me trying to shit on Jalen Green either. Like, if he has a great career, more power to him. Like, good for you, but we'll see. Buddy Hield's another one too. Buddy Hield averaged 21.
I'm like, oh, Dragic played in the finals. Jordan Poole literally won, but I was like, definitely him.
Yeah. He also played in the finals. All right.
Bradley Beal's another top answer. I'll just
yeah.
quickly go through. They're going to wonder why we called someone who averaged a triple-double 4 times, quote-unquote, Westbrook.
It's true.
Hassan
It's
Whiteside
true.
and Andre Drummond. Yes. We didn't even really talk about big guys except for Boogie.
Centers. Whiteside's a good one.
LaMarcus Aldridge comes to mind. I don't think that's fair.
Well,
he's going to be one of those guys, like, why doesn't people talk about? But he was, like, legit
speaking,
good,
yeah.
and him
but
going to the Spurs was a big deal. Like,
yeah, he was for real. Yeah. Nikola Mirotic.
Jerry Stackhouse was mentioned on here.
Yeah. Nikola Mirotic was a bucket when he came over. For those couple years, man.
Oh, I remember he was on those Bulls teams. He was good for them.
He averaged what he was good on the Pelicans too. Yeah, he was averaging 17 points a game.
Yeah. Trae Young, 100%. All his numbers make him look like an all-NBA player year after year, constant 20, 25, and 10.
Yeah, it's true.
We'll wrap there. We don't have to do any more on that. But
it
was a fun one. It was. I felt
like
I saw it. I was like, this is the perfect one for me.
I like that. All right, Ratless, what do you have?
Ratless, the lineup of drivers that I encountered on the way to basketball today. So my house, I live on the end of a peninsula. So there are 2 ways for me to get to the main road. I can go left from my house or I can go right. I went left because the direction I was going was that way. I'm driving down the road, which is a 2-lane road, 1 on each side. This truck in front of me must have been driving 15 miles an hour the whole way. And he definitely knew I was waiting for him to like speed up or something. And he was like relishing in it. If you're going to do that, like I get it if you're like going on a scenic drive and you just want to like look around. Let me pass you. Pull over.
I dealt with a similar thing on the way home.
And I sat with him for like 5 minutes to 8 minutes on a drive that should have been like 3. Then I get to the main road and it looks like someone drove into a restaurant with their car at like 5 p.m. And we've talked about this. You got to be a real asshole to get in an accident during rush hour, during the commute times, because then you're holding up everybody. So then traffic is backed up through a pair of lights. So not only is the accident is like right after a red light. So you have that one, then you have the one after it, and the lights are not synced. So people have to wait at a light, then they get to the other one, they wait at the other one. People are parked in the intersection. It's a mess. It took me an extra 15 minutes to get where I was trying to go. Shout out to the city. Respect.
I dealt with that. I dropped my mom off at Gillette today, and the traffic wasn't too bad. Who are they going to see? Pink.
What a throwback.
Pink's a banger, man. She makes bangers. Good to right. Pink's great. But I'm coming back, and I get to like the main-ish roads, and this dude's just going so slow, and he like stops in the middle of the street. I'm like, what are we stopping for? And they were doing like road work, so there was like a little bump in the road, and he like fully stopped for the bumps in the road, 2 back to back. And I'm like, dude, your tires aren't going to take that big of a beating. At this point, there's like the line of 4 cars, whatever, behind me. Like he's holding the whole traffic line up. And we get, so I'm going to try to explain this. So we get to this, like a fork in the road, like a Y. And you can keep going straight or you can take the left. And he takes the left. And I see some cars coming from the straight. So I would have to wait. But I'm like, you know what? No, they're far enough away. I can go. I'm fine. I'm just going to go right behind him. But there's another thing of construction at the fork in the road. And so as he's turning, he slams on his brakes in the turn, and I am already going in behind him. And so he stops to go over this construction, and I'm in the middle of the road, stopping traffic the other way because he wants to stop for this little bump. I'm like, dude, your car is fine. And I'm like looking up at the speed limit, it's like a 30, and he's going like 28. I'm like, brother, we can't be doing this. This is not how to drive your car. I'm sitting there like so mad. Line of 5 cars behind me. Disaster.
You're mad now. Think about when you're picking your mom and sister up from Gillette.
Yeah, I know. They're gonna walk though. I'm not going all the way to Gillette. They said like I'll meet you at like a McDonald's.
Can't they like take the train somewhere and then you can pick them up there?
No.
They don't, because it's not a game day. They don't have trains or don't they have a
T
line that goes to Gillette?
Yeah, it goes into the city though. It doesn't like go.
Oh, it's like one stop to Boston.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think it goes like, and even if it does, like it would, like that's the end. Like it doesn't keep going anywhere. Like it doesn't. Yeah.
Bonus driving rat list, and then I'm done with driving for the day. My driver's side outside door handle, ratless that, because I went to open my car door today and the handle opened, but the door didn't. So my handle's broken. So now I have to open my back door and open the door from the inside. So this is one of those things.
How old's your car?
Like 30 years old.
Yeah.
So this is one of those things that like I'm going to deal with. Like it's an issue. It's broken. It's like okay.
How many miles are in your car?
150,000.
150 or 200 plus?
100.
150.
Not bad.
Not as many as I thought for that car.
No.
Yeah.
We got it. I got it like 7 years ago. My dad got it at an auction when he was working at auto shop for like $800. 70, 80,000 on it. It's all right. So anyway,
I was gonna say my car has 120 on it. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah, don't sleep.
Crazy.
Dude, I'm telling you.
It's
The closet light was out, so my adaptation to that was I was just not putting my clothes away, and I would just leave them on my bed back here. And I was like, yeah, problem
you
solved.
adapt.
So now I'm adapting to. So now I'm going to open my car door from the back.
Fair enough.
Just wait till it gets cold out and the thing doesn't start after my first ride of the day.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like adaptions that I have made to overcome things that could be fixed, but I don't want to fix.
Comment your adaptions.
That's a fun bit. I don't know if I have anything. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Oh, my light's broken right here, and I adapted by just letting it be broken.
My best adaption ever, probably. So I have new AirPods now, but my first set of AirPods.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you have AirPods, someone can relate to this. They don't always charge. Sometimes
Correct.
you have to like either clean the things or it won't fucking charge unless it's in the thing perfectly. So what I had to do is I would put Q-tips in the slot with the AirPod to hold it in place so it would charge. And the case would be open with like a pair of Q-tips sticking out like TV antennas. And I was like, this is fine.
Sure. Whenever my headphones break, like these little like pads on them will like tear off a little bit, and so I'll just have to like the foam becomes exposed or whatever, so I just like curl around the rubber onto the foam and like put it on my head really fast so it like doesn't move. I guess that's an adaptation, but yeah, it's tough.
Rat list me. So when I tweeted a couple weeks ago during the Olympics, I was like, I'm rooting for France. And I did the Celtics blog article about rooting for France. Sounds like that may have gotten some attention. So today I got a message from @Spurs Reporter inviting me to San Antonio Spurs France, a community on Twitter. Message reads, you're invited to join the French San Antonio Spurs fans community. I'm not a French San Antonio Spurs fan.
Oh, did you accept the invite? Or
I have not accepted the invite.
It's rude. You go say what's
Rude
up.
to assume. Ass out of you and me.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else. I don't think I have any route list. Nothing much going on.
Rat list, my girlfriend. I'll close with this.
Oh no.
Let you think of something.
No.
So I cannot watch anything with my girlfriend without her thinking I'm going to become whatever she didn't like in the show or movie. So maybe like a month or two ago, I watched Scream with my girlfriend for the first time. The movie's almost 30 years old. So if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. The killer, there's two killers. One of them is the boyfriend, right? So after the movie, she's like, promise you're never going to kill me? I'm like, I'm not going to kill you. She was like, I just had to like, she was
Bold
like laughing
promise.
for like a half hour after that. And she was like, I just had so much like anxious energy built up, like watching that. I was like, all right, whatever. I was like, I'm not going to kill you. But yesterday I'm like, let's watch Curb. Let's watch Curb. Curb's excellent. I was like, you got to see this. Like, I started season 6. So season 6 is when Leon is introduced to Curb, JB Smooth's character. And he's like an essential part of the show. I was like, we'll start here. Like, he's awesome, whatever. So we watched a couple episodes. She's enjoying it, laughing. She's like so uncomfortable with like the way Larry acts in public. Like Larry is, let's see what. So my favorite Curb episode ever is what we watch. Larry steals flowers from a roadside memorial and then gifts them to the dean of a school he's trying to get like a friend's kid into. And the memorial is for his friend's mom who died. And his friend finds out he took the flowers. So he has to go steal the flowers back, whatever. But anyways, she's watching him in these uncomfortable situations. And she's like, it's literally like she's watching a horror movie. And she's like, I can't watch. And we finish watching. And she just turns to me and she goes, promise you're never going to turn into Larry?
That's a tough promise.
And I was like, well, I think we're all Larry a little bit. She was like,
dear.
His wife asked him to go hang out with his sister, and he was like, I don't think so. And I was like, sometimes you gotta say no.
Good luck with that.
I was like, Larry's the best. Larry's the GOAT. Killed the swan.
Yikes. Yeah, that's all I got. I don't got anything else. I don't know if you got anything else. We can end there.
I wrote him down this time. I was ready.
Love that. All right. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics, follow us on this podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, all the good stuff. I'll let Sam take it out.
Thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. You don't want to miss any of our daily uploads. Coming at you with new content, 5 a.m. on the channel every morning, full pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps once the season is back will be up the morning after each game. And then we have other videos in between to keep you busy. We'll also be on Spotify and Apple. All pods and game recaps are there. So if you follow us, those will go right into your feed. You won't miss any of them. Leave a 5-star review as well. We'd appreciate that. Email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Tell us your thoughts on the offseason. Tell us what you're most excited about heading into this season. Tell us your adaptions, what the strangest inconvenience that you've dealt with just because you don't want to pay for it is. We'd love to hear it. hbtcpod@gmail.com. You can find our socials at How About Them C's. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook's the name of the podcast. Our streams are there. They're on Twitter. And they're on Facebook. No, they're dead. YouTube and Twitter.
YouTube and Twitter. You messed up the order. That threw me off.
NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us.